The audio you're about to hear was recorded in Anchor. Learn more at anchor.fm.
You're listening to Pretty Dece, the bite-sized audio blog about games, comics, movies, and more, featuring news, reviews, opinions, and impressions. So if you're a geek, we hope you think it's Pretty Dece. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Pretty Dece for April 5th, 2017. I'm your host, Josh, and today I want to talk about some comic books again. One of the series that I've been reading recently and enjoying the most is Doctor Strange, the current iteration of the Doctor Strange series. This is a series that started in 2015, continued on all through last year. There are 2 volumes out so far. I've read through the first 2 volumes here, and this is sort of the Doctor Strange that came about kind of with the movie. So it was the kind of reboot, the solo run of Doctor Strange that was hoping to kind of like get out there and be on shelves as the movie came out. It's written by Jason Aaron, and the art's by Chris Bachalo. The art's definitely a real standout on this series. It really adds to like the weird, moody, crazy, interdimensional magical monsters aspect with the art and also the coloring as well, which Chris also did. It is very otherworldly most of the time, and he does really interesting things with sparse color, where when we are seeing things through Doctor Strange's kind of all-seeing eye, we will have like a monster in very vivid color, and the rest of the panel will be black and white, and that's a really, really striking thing, and you really get a sense of sort of like, this is this weird magical world that I don't understand. All the characters look great. I really like the design of Doctor Strange. He's a little bit younger here than he normally is, at least historically, so he's not like graying. He's not, he clearly doesn't look like he is in his late 40s, early 50s like he did when Doctor Strange first debuted. Instead, he looks a little bit younger. He looks maybe like late 30s, early 40s. He looks kind of on the Tony Stark level of age, which, is one of the reasons why I liked Tony Stark growing up, and liked Doctor Strange growing up, was that he was this older character. He was a lot different than the other characters that I was reading. Spider-Man was in high school, and Doctor Strange was this like older, wiser guy. He had a bit more of a level head about things, and he approached things from a way different perspective. I loved when he would team up with Spider-Man. Spider-Man would want to just hit something and solve the problem head on, and Doctor Strange would know more about it because he, understood it on a literally completely different realm. He understood on the magical realm. And I do like the swagger of Doctor Strange as well. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. He knows that he can get the job done. He knows he's kind of a big deal. So he does have that like Tony Stark-esque swagger to him. And then of course the Doctor Strange movie was very, very awesome. Thought it was a really good representation of the character, what he represents, how he fights, like even at the end when he, outsmarts the, final, bad guy instead of just hitting him with a big hammer or something. This particular comic series really, really gets to the core of that Doctor Strange. The Doctor Strange that will figure out a way to solve the problem at all costs. And it opens in the story, and it really opens your eyes to a Doctor Strange that has his own problems to deal with. Usually you see Doctor Strange, he's tagging along with the Avengers, he's popping up in some other book, and he's there to like sprinkle in some magic to whatever story they have, and he's dealing with some, huge worldly threat. But he's kind of a tourist in their world, in their superhero world. And here, we are a tourist in his magical world. So we get to see that he's making magical house calls. He's going and he's helping people who are, need to be exorcised, who need demons pulled out of them. And it's really neat. They talk about how people always find him when they need him. And he, goes and helps these people. So the city as a whole, like New York as a whole, is sort of something he has to hold sway over, and something he has to protect from these enemies that people don't even see. He's literally the only person, one of the only people that can see these enemies, and he's got to be there. this also opens our eyes, this series opens our eyes to this whole magical New York and magical world that we don't even know about, that we don't even know exists, and the rest of the superheroes don't even know exist. One good example of that is early on, Strange goes to a bar with no doors. It's called the Bar with No Doors. So you have to phase into it, and it is the magical hangout spot for magicians. It's essentially Cheers, but for people like Doctor Strange. They all know each other. The bartender is a magician. And we're not saying magician as in pulls a rabbit out of a hat and, fools you. We're talking people who wield magic in this world. And that's very important, because you find out in this series that with using magic, a price has to be paid. And we find out very early on that the bill is coming due, so to speak. Stephen Strange has done a lot of good for the world and used a lot of magic, and there needs to be this balance, and the series talks about this balancing act that needs to happen with using magic for good, and then also it needs to take away. Magic is this sort of other dimensional force that doesn't really have morality on its side. It has, it needs to be sated, kind of. And that brings you to the enemies here. So, this book really at its core pits science versus magic, and magic is on the good side. The good guys in this story, Doctor Strange and his compatriots, are wielding magic, and this evil force called Empirical shows up, and they are wielding science. Now, they're not wielding actual science. They're calling their cause scientific, but really they're on a witch hunt. They're on an expedition to wipe out all magic. And they're a scary, scary enemy, and they're a really, really cool looking enemy as well. All the designs are very striking. All of their black and white features and the dogs that they sick on Doctor Strange are very cool. And what happens very early on in the series is that Doctor Strange is depowered. His magic is taken away. And in any good story, we find that the hero is not comprised of the powers and the abilities that the hero had. The person underneath was the hero all along, and he was just using those abilities. So even without the power of magic behind him, Doctor Strange still rises to the occasion. And we get some really cool issues where Doctor Strange has to go hunt down every last drop of magic left in the world to be able to fight Empirical. And it's really, really fun. You get to see, Strange team up with some, magical people throughout the Marvel Universe. You get some really cool cameos in that respect. And again, you get a really good view of sort of this whole magical underground going on in the Marvel Universe that you didn't even know existed. So it's really neat. You get to see Doctor Strange, as I said, fight his own battles. You get to see him address things that are Doctor Strange specific, that are not regular superhero stuff. And because of that, this book has its own unique tone. It has its own unique thing going on, that is really fun and really, really hard to put down. So that's the first 2 volumes of Doctor Strange. First volume is called The Way of the Weird, and the second volume is called The Last Days of Magic. So I will definitely say these 2 comics are pretty decent. So thanks for tuning in today to Pretty Dece. It was real fun to talk about Doctor Strange with you. I'm really enjoying those comics and excited to read more. As I said, I've read the first 10 issues. Excited to hop in and continue on from there. If you like Pretty Dece, you want to hear more of what I have to say every single day, please favorite the show in Anchor. You can click the little star in the Anchor app. Make sure you hear us every single day and you never miss an episode. You can also like the show on Facebook. You can find it at facebook.com/PrettyDeceShow.